All right, it's time to unravel the mystery.
To figure out where we went wrong? Sure.
Yeah, but I want to show a couple of things about Travis before we do that.
Okay.
Because we merged the pull request by the end of the last session.
Yeah.
I want to show that Travis got that merged pull request and built it again.
Oh, so it detected it automatically on master and built it.
Yes, exactly. So now we have a bunch of builds here.
Yeah.
We have a build on the Travis on the CI branch,
yeah.
then a build on the pull request,
Yep.
and finally the same build on master.
Yep.
Which is important.
That's enough checks.
Yeah, that's important because this build on the branch and on the pull request, they are kind of redundant.
Yeah.
But the one on master is important because different people may be working on different features.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you integrate your feature into
together,
master,
yeah.
then you run into a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is a reason for you to do that build as well. Another thing that you find in many open source projects is you find this badge linking to the build in Travis.
Latest build that you can see.
And I want to put that badge here on our page because it looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
So let's first see how to render anything here, right? People interested in this repository are going to want to read your README file.
Yeah.
So let's go here to IntelliJ. And you know what? This time I'm going to do this directly on master. I'm not going to have a separate branch just for this. And I'm going to create a file that I'm calling README Markdown.
Yeah.
Hang on, what is Markdown? Is it in the toolbox? Yes, it is.
Yep.
It's the language we use
to write documentation.
Yeah. I think we have used this in the past because in GitHub, anytime you write a pull request message, you get to write Markdown.
Yep, that's where we used it.
And other places in the documentation, including the README. Let's see how that works. Well, we have the project called TODOOSE. And I want this to be a title. So if I put this marks, it becomes a title.
Yeah.
Awesome, right? And you can write things about your project here. I won't write too much. The only thing I will do is to add that badge for now.
Yeah.
So I can come here to Travis and click on the badge, and then it gives me code to put in my Markdown file. If I copy and paste this there, then it becomes the badge.
That's it.
And this is Markdown syntax to include an image and a link. Yes. So if I click on the link, I go to the build on Travis.
Yeah.
It looks super cool. And I want to commit this
and push.
Simple
enough. Useful enough, to be honest.
Add Travis badge. And I don't want the CI to run the whole build just because of a README change. So if I put this little annotation, Travis will know to skip this commit. Otherwise, it would try to build it again, and it would work.
But it's just like it's wasting 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'm saving some dollars for Travis. And now that we pushed this, we can refresh the GitHub page, and we see the title and the little badge.
Yep.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been postponing this enough. What is the problem? Let's go back. In the Javalin documentation, it says that the lifecycle events, for instance, when the app is starting or stopped, this is how you do it, right? And then we tried and we couldn't. So this is what we ended up with. We ended up with this code.
Yep.
Instead of saying events and then have a lambda or a code of block with an argument, an event dot starting, we had to say this instead. Completely different.
Yep.
Well, the mistake was on us, and it was simple. We started recording this before June 11th.
Yes.
Before June 11th, the version of Javalin...
It's that recent?
Yes. The version of Javalin was 2.8.
I was wondering why we're not on the latest.
Yeah, so...
I didn't realize it was this recent.
We were running Javalin 2.8. Well, Javalin 3 was released on June 11th, after we started recording this.
A week ago.
So the documentation is referring to 3.0. And if we wanted to, we could click here and go to the documentation to 2.8, and then we would find the life cycle events in the old-fashioned way.
And that's what we have?
That's what we had.
Yep.
but I want to use the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
So I want to update this. I want to update our project to 3.0.
Yeah.
First, we change the version to 3.0. Easy enough. Gradle will update the version for us.
And then our stuff breaks.
But then our code is going to break because
so much.
the APIs are different now. So not the API between server and client.
Yeah,
the API
Javalin API.
Yeah, the API that we as programmers use to communicate with Javalin.
Yes.
So some things are going to break. The first is there is no longer this Javalin event thing, this constant. It doesn't exist any longer. So let's get rid of it. Now we can do things following the new documentation for life cycle events. It was kind of embarrassing to have to ask this question and have the Javalin maintainer say, "Guy, dude, what are you doing?" So yeah, let's use this new API.
App.events.
Yeah, app.events.
Event.
And then event server starting.
Yeah.
And callback.
To be honest, this is like a lot more convoluted than what it was before.
Maybe. And similarly for
event
server stopped.
Yep.
Okay, we have some errors here. Unhandled exceptions. Surround with try catch. This is not ideal, and I understand the problem. The problem has to do with this lambda.
Yeah.
It is not allowed to throw exceptions.
Yep.
This used to be a problem in the old version as well.
So you added throws SQLite.
Yeah, I added this here, but this lambda is disallowed to throw an exception. So this is a problem with, it was a problem with the previous version of Javalin. I fixed that. And then it's now a problem with this version as well. I will try to fix that in Javalin and send a pull request to them. For the time being, we are going to surround this with a try catch and we'll not do much with
the lot of try catches.
Well, it's only 2 for now.
Yeah.
But if I get to fix this in Javalin, then we can get rid of this code.
Yep.
In fact, this SQL exception may not be thrown in this block any longer. Well, it is by the get connection.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
So that's it for this part, but there's another problem. This guy, the enable static files, that has changed as well. So now what we have to say is app config. Is this how you do it? I don't even remember. Static file.
Yeah, I think that was it. Does it say enable web jars?
No, yeah, it's not in app.config. I'll remove this line for now. And when you say create, you get a chance to pass a config lambda if you want, in which you have access to enable static file. Cannot resolve enable static files. Is it called something different?
I don't see
add static files. It's now called add static files. And that's how you do it now in Javalin 3.
It's convoluted now. At least the syntaxes. I'm sure they worked out like any errors or issues they might have had on their end. But yeah.
Well, the API is more consistent now because think about it that way. Remember when we had the add static files later in the file, but then we couldn't start the server because you had to. Remember we had that problem? We had to say app.start here in the end.
Yeah.
Well, now in theory we could, I think, get this start right in the beginning, and nothing breaks. I suppose we could do this. I won't, but we could. So it's okay. It's a decision they made, and we want to keep using Javalin with the latest version, so we'll have to use it this way.
Enough.
So
still seems to be something wrong.
No, the thing is that for some reason IntelliJ doesn't know how to handle this SQL. but it's not a problem with our code. It's a problem with Javalin. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's a problem with Javalin. To make sure, I will rerun the server.
Yeah, that's what.
And I will try out the application in the browser. So it's able to start,
Yeah,
which is great. And it may even say somewhere here that it's running Javalin 3. No, it doesn't. Let's go back to the browser and say localhost 7000. And we get all the to-do items. We are able to create new ones. So everything seems to be working. We have updated to Javalin 3.0. And that solves the mystery. We were wrong. They were right. Okay.
Oh, big surprise.
Now I will do things the right way. I will create a branch called update Javalin.
Yes.
And I will commit and push. I will see the changes in Travis, and the build will be passing.
Yep.
What I want is to update Javalin. Push. Coming back here to GitHub, we see the branch. Coming back to Travis,
we see branch. There you go.
Update Javalin. So the build is running now. When it passes, I will merge the pull request. If it passes, I will merge the pull request. But I don't think we have to wait for this, right?
No.
Let's just trust that this will pass and merge the pull request. And on the next one, how about we actually put this in production, deploy this?
That sounds like a good idea. Finally, we're at that stage. So that means that we're almost done checking off all the tools. We're not done with the app, I get it, but we're almost done checking off all the tools in the toolbox, which I think is good progress.
Yeah, let's see. So we talked about IntelliJ a whole lot. Postman, yes. There is still one more thing we might want to talk about Postman. And that is testing in Postman, but we'll leave that for later. We showed the developer tools in Chrome. We are using Git.
We are using Safari to show it.
Yeah, that's a big point I want to make. If you don't like Chrome, whatever, I don't like Chrome, and I'm still using it to develop the app. If you don't like Java or if you don't like Postman, whatever, those tools work. That's the beauty of the toolbox. Most tools in the toolbox I don't particularly use on my projects, but for the course, they are great.
Yeah,
that's what I love about the tools in the toolbox. So we are using version control all along and GitHub. We sort of skipped this part because we have this, and that's our pencil and paper thing. We talked about Java. And Gradle and Javalin and Jackson. By the way, if you don't remember, we talked about Jackson under the hood when we did
with Javalin.
When we did what? This.
Yes, CTXLJ. Then you have JUnit,
JUnit and SQLite, JavaScript, HTML and CSS, React. We talked about JSON. We talked about Travis, and we talked about Markdown. So the only thing missing is to deploy.
Heroku. That's next time.
All right. See you on the next one.